So I took off the blue vest and I came downstairs and I put my hair up. And I said I was going to make a video about a whole bunch of stuff. And now I don't want to. So instead, I'm going to, if I'm good, I'll open up my computer and I will do my bookkeeping. If I'm bad, I will take the rest of the night off and rewatch. Oh, you okay? She's purring so hard that you just gave yourself a little upset tummy, didn't you? I will watch some TV. I will watch more of The Diplomat because I'm really digging that show for the second time. No, let me see if I can do just like 5 minutes on what I kind of wanted to say upstairs. So, all right, this is more like about work stuff. And this is a little bit of advice, okay? So, first and foremost, the world, this is to my older clients, okay? Specifically to people who are, I want to say over the age of 65, and then I thought, well, maybe probably over the age of 50. I'm going to make the line this, okay? If you grew up with computers in your home, at home, I am not talking to you. At least right now. I will in a minute, but not right now. So if you are someone who was brought up in the age before computers, I need you to understand something. The world, as you knew it, and as you've known it up until now, is not the same. When you look at, I feel like I should go back and say that all over again because I didn't do a very good job of saying it. I was trying to recreate basically what I said to my boyfriend earlier today, because here's where this all comes from. We were talking about AI and what AI is capable of doing, and there is technology and innovation that enhances the way we do things. And then there is technology and innovation that changes the way we do things. Like it literally rearranges the way we do life and the way that we operate through, life. And there are certain innovations over time that have drastically impacted the world in that way. And people who are retired or about to retire, you guys are retiring at the right time because, again, the world as you know it is about to change drastically. We are talking the type of difference like before and after the invention of electricity. Like it is that extreme of a difference. So the way that businesses are built, the way that we get a simple task done, the way that we plan something, the way that we learn something, the way that we implement what we've learned, the way that we decide what services we're going to pay for, the way that I know what it needs, my cat needs, like how to take care of her, like how to communicate with her, what it means when her ears are like this versus when her ears are like this versus when her ears are like this. So anyway, and it's like talking to an expert. Do you know what I mean? Now, I'm very, very much oversimplifying the way AI works, right? And I'm talking about mostly just like a ChatGPT or a back and forth kind of thing like that. But in terms of what can be built and how it can be used and how it can be deployed in a sense, as much as I don't like using that word, it really is night and day. And the way that you guys made your money, the way that you lived your lives, the locations you chose, the jobs you chose, how long you stayed at those jobs, the way that you decided how many kids to have and what furniture to buy, and like, the type of car you needed, all of that has changed. All of it. How long we stay at a job isn't the same. You guys used to stay at one job for as long as you could. It was a badge of honor. For us, if we stay at a job for a very, very long time, sometimes that means that we just can't move. It means that we're locked into position. It doesn't necessarily mean we're working for a great company. It means that we're stuck. For you guys, you pined after and chose a very specific China pattern when you got married and when you got your first house or whatever it was that got on a registry, right? When you put a registry together, it was for something that you thought you were going to have for your entire life, that you were going to take out when you had family events and parties, and you were going to use it on special occasions. And that was important to you. And it was the thing that you thought you would hand down to your children because that was the thing you did. But over 3 generations, microwaves, most China patterns have something of gold on it, have something of silver on it. And if you try to put that in the microwave, do you know what happens? You blow up your kitchen. You create a big giant mess, or you just really, really scare your spouse. But you're going to not be able to put that in the microwave. So, and I'm not saying I'm pro microwave. I'm just saying that in terms of the ways that our world works, we're not using fine china with silver and gold patterns on it anymore. We need things that are, sorry, baby girl. We need things that are a little bit more flexible, a little bit more utilitarian. And not only that, we move more often. And every time we move, we get a new china pattern. Like we get a new set of dishes to match a new kitchen in a new location in a new city, wherever we are. So, there so much has changed, right? Those are just 2 things that have changed. Another thing that's changed, keeping things safe, keeping things in good condition used to mean not using them very often. When you were done using them, to put them back in the box, right? To save it in the packaging that it came in, and that's where it lived, and you took it out, you used it, you put it back in the box. I know this. Why do I know this? Because my mother, her neighbor, my clients, and everybody over a certain age, that's what you guys do. Not a blanket statement. Not everybody does that, but I've seen it enough that I know. You do it. You do it, and you do it, and you do it, right? And you know someone who does it. It's a thing. So it's not a thing anymore. Don't do it. Stop doing it. Because what you're doing is actually taking up space that you need for the other things that you need to store in your life. Because the other thing that's happened is places aren't as big as they used to be. We don't need them to be as big as they used to be. Now, some homes are getting built bigger. Most homes are getting built smaller. Or most people want smaller spaces. Because just like there was the big, huge downsize in homes when we stopped going from these big manor homes and places with tons and tons of servants to something a little more manageable, something you didn't need a huge staff of 20 people to take care of because those things weren't sustainable. So in smaller places, space is a premium. You do not need to put a steamer back in the box and put it back up on your shelf. I promise you, it's okay in the shelf by itself. Even if it bumps up against something, even if it falls down, it's okay. And guess what? If it does fall down and it breaks, it's not made of materials like it used to, which means it doesn't cost as much as it used to, which means you can probably get a new one for pretty cheap, even if it does break. So, perceived obsolescence and planned obsolescence are 2 things that I really do not support. I very much support taking care of your things, using what you have and that you love and taking good care of it, keeping it for a long time and keeping it in good condition. However, there is a time and a place for mass produced items, not in every area of your home. I think that things should have more character. Um, for instance, I'm sitting here at a beautiful wood table that was a slab that I got from someone, and I turned it into a table. And on my table is a mug that was purchased because I fell in love with it. And it has a hairline crack, unfortunately, that, happened over time. But this mug was handmade by a local family that mined for the clay themselves and did the wood firing in their backyard because they built the wood fired kiln. So, I definitely believe in living with things that have personality, character, uniqueness, but there are plenty of things that are replaceable, that are, of minimal impact to the environment if you do have to throw them out. And if you are living with less, you are genuinely being less wasteful. Now, I'm going to say this. Are you ready for this? You're not ready for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I have what I call object bulimia, which is where I will want something, I obtain something, I use something, and then I purge it once I'm fulfilled. And it sounds like a really, really wasteful, bad habit, but it's not. It's not. I'm not throwing things out. I'm not throwing out anything valuable, useful. I'm donating it. I'm getting rid of it out of my life to make room for other things that I can also enjoy. And it's not like I turn over every single thing I own. I've had the same couch for years. I've had the same coffee table for a decade. The art in my home is stuff from the 70s and even earlier. This is a family drawing from 1934. It's not like I'm just getting rid of tons of things, like every single thing I own. But that mug that I bought, if that wasn't my favorite mug with a hairline crack in it, it wouldn't be my pen holder. Oh, you're back. Hi. Okay. Hi. Welcome. I would have, if I were tired of it, I would have donated it. I would have given it to a friend. I would have brought it to an antique store. I would have done so many things to give it back to the world. And then I would have gone and bought something else that I really love to fill the void of not having a coffee cup in the morning. And trust me, I have so many coffee cups. My boyfriend has put me on a pottery ban because I buy too many handmade mugs. Do you want to know what I'm talking about? The phone was resting on another handmade mug from another local potter. See? That's their mark. So and you know what? I thought about getting rid of that mug 2 weeks ago because it's just not my favorite. I just don't use it. But I was like, well, yeah, you know what? But if I got rid of it, I have a feeling I would probably go back to their store and buy something else. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I would have been okay with that. If I have the money to spend, which I kind of don't, which is why my boyfriend's put me on the pottery ban, but I don't mind supporting companies and small businesses and people that are making great things that I love. And getting the, $20 hand steamer from Amazon sometimes. I think I'm just ranting instead of actually making my point and educating you, which was the intention, or maybe my intention was just to rant. I'm not sure. But I think what I've been hearing is people being concerned about them being wasteful. And the twisted thing is the amount of time, money, resources, energy, space, hassle, headache, emotional not trauma, but emotional weight that they put into holding on to their stuff is wasteful. It is so much more wasteful than my habit of object bulimia, because I have freedom, I have faith, I have flexibility, I have new things in my life all the time. I get to enjoy new things. There is an abundance. And I'm not just saying that in a woo-woo kind of way. I'm saying, like, I am telling you, part of my job is to help people to be okay with parting with the things that they know they need to get rid of, even though they don't want to, and helping them to go through all the psychological attachments and meaning that they've attached to these items that isn't inherently there, but that we made up. And the amount of things that are living inside of everyone's home, there is an abundance. Trust me. Trust me. If, just like they say about, like, if you took all the money that's in a certain group of people and you spread it out to everyone in the world, everyone would be a millionaire. The same thing goes with stuff. If every single person watching this video were to actually donate or part with all the things that that doesn't actually serve them in their life today, oh my God, number one, it would be like ThredUp during COVID. Donation places would have to start saying, no, we don't have space, because there would just be so much that people are willing to get rid of and part with that there'd be no room to store anything. And secondly, that's the downside. The plus side, the good side, the upside is that there would be so much stuff circulating. See, part of the reason that everyone feels like there's nothing out there and that they can't find what they want is because everyone's freaking hoarding it. Let go. Just let go. Let go. Here's the belief that I have. See if you can adopt this. God will never let you go without. Okay? You may have to wait a little while. You may have to be patient. You may have to hold on. You may have to come up with a little something. You may have to look at things differently. But if there is a void, He will fill it. If you need a job, if you need a housemate, if you need a new boyfriend, if you need a new mug, do you know what I mean? It's just like whatever you need, it will come to you. And call it woo-woo, call it manifestation, call it faith, call it whatever you want. I think that's the way the world works. And for every single one of my clients, and I literally mean every single one of my clients, they feel so much better. It is literally life changing. You are just staring at the camera right now. It's adorable. I mean, you're done, but you were giving them quite a stare. Oh my goodness. I just love you so much. I know. Tell them how I cute aggression you. Right. Tell them how I cute aggression you. Right? Oh, just like this. Just like this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I really do love you so much. My baby girl. So, again, every single one of my clients feels life-changing, and they just feel more free, and they feel more alive, and they feel like they can do so much more, and they have space in their lives again. I might have to give her more food. She just went over to her dish. When we go on vacation, I'm just going to adjust this because I'm sitting here leaning down, like, it's really kind of crazy. So, whoop. We'll just leave it, whatever. I went from being too low to being too high. So the thing about going on vacation, right, is when you go on vacation, you take with you as little as you need. Now, even us overpackers, and here's a tip for the overpackers: pull out everything that you think you're going to want. Everything that you think you're going to look good in, every, combination you could possibly think of, every shoe that you think you're going and do it from a minimal perspective. But still, you can bring it all out, put it all in the bed. And then once you've gotten what you think you need, go through every single day of your trip, what you're doing, where you're going, what the climate will be, who you need to be around. Are you going to dinner? Are you going to a ball? Are you going to the beach? Are you going to a museum? Are you going to the pool? What do you need? And if you don't know what you're doing, then count for probably 3 activities. I don't care if those activities are going to the lobby for breakfast, going to the pool, and then going out to dinner. There's 3 activities, okay? You might be able to wear the same thing for every single one of them, but you need to account for 3 activities a day. Now, if you're like me and you have a really, really weird affliction to being in an outfit for more than 6 hours, it's very easy to imagine that you're going to change 3 times, into 3 different outfits throughout the day. But if you are not someone who feels all that weirdness like I do when clothes have been on your body for too long, then you just need to consider that the activities that you go to are going to require you to change your clothes multiple times throughout the day, most likely. So again, you open up your suitcase, you start walking through your day, and then you will put those items either in your suitcase or at least next to your suitcase. Then you will go into day number 2 and you will say, okay, well, this pair of pants that I'm going to wear on day number 1 would look really good on day number 2 with this shirt. Or, this, or that's where you get to see how you can capsule wardrobe down to just a few pieces that are going to be very versatile that you can probably wear over again. Not in a weird, disgusting way. If you go hiking in something and you're really, really gross and nasty, please don't put that on, later on to go out with your friends. But there are some things you can wear over again. And if you're staying at a place where you have laundry, well, then again, it's going to be fine. The point is, you don't need to pack 5 pairs of things for 3 days. You don't need to pack 5 pairs of pants for 3 days if you're going to need, I don't know. I'm about to contradict myself. But I think you get my point. So walk through every day, see what pieces are going to go with other things so that you have the most potential for the most number of outfits to be created from the most few items possible. From there, you can add a piece or 2 that are going to be standalones, like the one dress you're going to need for going out to some fancy something, or, the one suit you're going to have to wear for the interview, or, whatever it is. Just know that it's okay to have a few of those outliers if there's a purpose for them. Do not bring outliers for just in case. Do not do it. You will so regret losing that opportunity for space in your luggage for something else. So look for things that have a lot of versatility, things that represent your style, represent you, that you're comfortable in. And these are the kind of items that you should have all along in your closet anyway. You shouldn't really have a whole lot that isn't extra versatile and, that whole 80-20 rule. What Genesis? By the way, I swear I have not had any caffeine today. At least I don't think so. Yeah, I had a strawberry tea earlier, and that was not black tea. At least it shouldn't have been, because I'm pretty damn sure that was decaf, because I had that tea at home, and I had it out at a cafe. But neither here nor there. The reason I'm talking like this is because I'm just passionate. I'm just passionate, guys. And now this video is 25 minutes, and I think you've gotten enough of my passion and enough of my quirk. And I have so much more that I could say. But yeah, we stated that the world for older people is not the world for younger people. And we're doing things very, very differently now. And the world that you guys are keeping all your stuff for doesn't exist. It just doesn't. The world that you guys are so prepared for isn't the world. So take it from me. You can get rid of a lot more than you've gotten rid of because you just don't need it. And you know what? You're going to feel a lot better when you don't have it. Because guess what? You're at a point in your lives where you love to fucking shop. You love to shop. You are still shopping like it's 20 years ago. And you're amassing things. You're collecting things. So many of you are still going to the thrift store. You're still going to yard sales. You're still going to estate sales. You're still buying like you have an empty house to furnish and 2 kids in college. Like, you don't. You have grandkids who have no playroom in your house because the house that you could possibly make as the playroom is completely stuffed. So do everyone a favor. Stop. Stop buying. Stop thinking about, oh, I could use this someday. Okay? Here's another tip, right? This is a shopping tip. My mom taught me that when you are shopping, if you try something on or, there's something you want, if you think you're going to leave the store and think about that thing, buy it. Now, is there anything wrong with that idea, that theory, that way of doing things? No, but it's a hypothetical that you can't actually test. So here's what I've replaced it with. If I'm in a dressing room and I try something on, I ask myself, would I wear this right now? Would I wear this for the rest of the day? If the answer is yes, it means it's something that is so truly me that it fits just everyday life. It is a part of the wardrobe that it will probably be the 80-20, that I will grab 80% of the time. Because it's like second skin. Do you know what I mean? The other way that a garment that you will probably always reach for is when you have a number of things in the dressing room with you. If there's one item that you continuously put on between all the other stuff, like, you've taken off your button-down shirt and, there's like this one sweatshirt that you're thinking about buying, and between all the other things that you try on, you put on that sweatshirt to go grab something else or whatever. Like, the garment that you continuously are gravitating to put on in the meantime, that you should buy it. Because again, it's going to be a staple. It's going to be something clearly that you're comfortable in, that's easy to move in, that you enjoy wearing, and that feels like something that's already home, So going back to the would you wear it? That was the thing that I replaced the would you think about it if you left. Now, if you want to employ my mom's idea and theory, that's great. You can totally do that. But here's my recommendation. I'm going to alter it for you. If you leave and you're thinking about it, you can go back. But don't buy it ahead of time. So that's my little caveat. And what was the other thing I was going to say about shopping? In terms of items, regular items. If you are looking at something for the house or looking at something that is I could do XYZ with this someday. Like, this would be good for that project that I'm thinking of doing. then it is again kind of similar to the whole closet thing, but it is about right now. Are you going to take that thing and go home and do that right now? Because if you're not, or you're not going to do it tomorrow, you're not going to do it. And I guarantee if you are an average individual with a house full of stuff, you have 17,000 other little projects like that all around your home that are gunking up your everyday life, filling your head with guilt about all the projects that you haven't done. And then you feel bad that you didn't do them. But guess what? You don't have to feel bad that you didn't do them. Just realize you're not going to do them. There's freedom in that. There's honor in that. There's integrity in that. Let it go. Someone else will do that project. Someone else will take that gizmo that's part of a project that you never actually did and use it for the thing that it's supposed to be used for. Again, you're actually holding on to things that other people need. Let it go. Now we're going to address when you have decided to let something go, but you're holding on to how. It needs to go to a certain person. It needs to go to a certain organization. I'm only going to let go of it if I get this much money for it. I'm going to put all this stuff together and put it in a yard sale. I'm going to create a Poshmark account. I'm going to take it to consignment. I'm going to take it to an estate sale. I'm going to take it to an auction house. If there are the words "I'm going to" in front of the action, you might as well accept that thing is going to live. There's a 90% chance that thing is never going to leave your house. I make sure when I work with people that two things happen, or one of two things happen. Either the things that they're getting rid of leave the house with me, or we have a plan that they are going to implement within the next 5 days for how these things are going to leave. And they need to take action on them in the next 5 days. Or after that, it comes with me and it goes to donation. That's the rule, because it is not productive to allow these things to stay in your life and gunk up your space. So, another angle that I'm going to address, and this is, again, geared towards my older generational demographic here. When my father passed away, his entire house, attic, bedrooms, main floor, basement, were all filled with tools, projects, furniture, things from my grandmother that he inherited. There was a chop saw on the dining room table. There were parts to telescope projects that he was building all around. There was a piano. And I'm not talking about the piano was nicely displayed. No, it was covered. It was covered. And then the cover was covered with other stuff. So here's the point. The point is, when my dad died, I had 4 floors of stuff to go through, and I had to go through every single item. I had to go through every single pair of pants, pockets, jackets, pockets, drawers of clothing, files, furniture. I had to find homes for his cats. I had to identify what the hell all of these man tool gadgets were. I had to deal with my own grief. By the way, it's not easy to deal with grief when you're trying to muscle your way through 4 floors of stuff. So, having gone through that, and even, this is going to sound like a weird dichotomy, but by myself with help, I'm not going to say it's one of the worst things I've ever had to do in my life, but what made it worse was the fact that my mom's stuff that had been living in the garage at my husband's and my house had to go into my dad's house because my husband and I were getting a divorce. So guess what? I had to go through my dad's entire house, which contained his stuff and my grandmother's stuff. And then out of my home, I had to take all my stuff and move it in to my dad's house, along with my mom's stuff to move her stuff into my dad's house because my parents were divorced. So, and then there was stuff that my ex-husband and I had to figure out who's taking what. So and listen, was doing all of that traumatic? It was hard. Yeah, I guess it was traumatic, but it's not lingering. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want you to think that where I'm coming from and with my advice to other people is because I have unresolved issues about my own pain. That's done. I'm a freaking trooper. Okay. I'm resilient but you don't want your kids to go through that. That's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that the whole Swedish death cleaning thing is it's a gift. It's beautiful to be able to give your loved ones freedom, to mourn the loss of you, to celebrate your life, to think about you and what you meant to them and the connection you had and the relationship you built and the mark you made, the when I say gifts that you left, I don't mean monetary or physical. And maybe there are some monetary and physical, but their concern or thought or management of that should be like 15% of what they're thinking about after you die. Do not leave a mess for your children or your spouse or your niece or your grandkids. Don't do it. Don't do it. And when I say a mess, you can have the most organized file system. But if you have a file system of, just boxes and boxes and boxes, and if you have an entire room, right, of some collection of trains, unless your kids love trains, you are leaving something that needs to be stored, something that needs to be sold, something that needs to be managed. So, the Swede value of really, really minimizing down to the things that are the most important to you so that when you pass, they know the difference between what was meaningful and what was just, furniture. And it's a little bit of like going back to that whole China pattern thing. Or totally embracing that none of it matters and that you don't need to live with the 7 different China patterns that have come with you throughout your entire life, plus the 2 that you bought at the estate sale, or that your friend gave you. Like, I have a China pattern. I have a dish set. It's not a China pattern. I mean, it is discontinued Mikasa. I forget what the pattern is called, but like it screams 1980s. And I have it because my former mother-in-law's best friend, when she was moving, needed to get rid of hers. And so she gave them to my former mother-in-law, who then asked if we wanted them. And we had just gotten into an apartment. So we were like, yeah, sure. And so that's what we used. And then when we got divorced, we didn't need them. Or did we even use them? Were they still in storage? Now I have to think. Because I don't have any. No, we did use those. We absolutely use those. He must have just had another set. Was that because he was moving into his mom's and didn't need it? I think that might have been it. So anyway, the point is I ended up with them. I have them. I would love to get a new set of dishes. And some of them I have. I've got, I got rid of the teacups. What did I need teacups for? I got rid of the teacups and, I got rid of a couple things, but I still have the dishes. I still have the plates, the bowls, and the saucers. The plates. Yeah, plates, salad plates, and bowls. There you go. So with that, sorry, I just got really self-conscious about the fact that this video is now 40 minutes long, and I feel like you probably aren't going to watch all of this, even though I am giving great, okay, pat yourself on the back, Erica. I'm giving great advice. I don't know. Do you guys like this stuff? I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'm too passionate about this. And the truth is, when I'm working with my clients, this passion comes out in the most productive, beautiful, fun, playful way. And I hope it doesn't sound like I'm just being bossy and opinionated and making people wrong for the way that they've lived, because that's absolutely not what I feel like, and that's not what I want to portray. I just know that I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of information and a lot of experience helping people to have their home be more beautiful, more aligned, more free, more fabulous and empowering, and able to help them move their life forward. Like, transformation is not just about the work that you do interior, like in here, it's about the work that you do like around you too, So yeah, as you start to change things on the inside, the outside needs to change too. And that's what I like helping people with. And there's a lot of psychological stuff, and part of dealing with the psychological stuff is accepting the gap between what's going on up here and the reality that's actually happening out here. And there are certain realities that just, you think are a certain way until you learn otherwise. And then sometimes even when you learn it, you just don't want to believe it. And it takes some time for it to sink in or settle in, or you make the differences, but make those changes. But that's what I help people with, or that's one of the things I help people with. So having congruency, consistency, and cohesion, between what they think and what's going on around them and what's happening in the world. Do you need 12 saucepans? Are you a chef? Were you a chef? Because even if you were a chef, are you a chef now? Or are you holding on to it because you feel like it's part of your identity and nostalgia? Because do me a favor, we'll take a picture of you holding 12 saucepans and we'll put it up in your kitchen, but you don't need to hold on to 12 saucepans. So, like there are ways to address the attachments that doesn't require holding on to the things. But why are you holding on to the things? Because you can get rid of a lot of them. And you'll feel that when you go on vacation. And, if you can't name all the things that are back home, like if you're not pining for something, you probably don't need it. And if you do need it, I have faith that you are resourceful, that God will provide, and that the world is abundant.